flip this over to general observations. On our card, it notes things that we can look for with general observations. We can look for comparisons. We can look for commands. We can look for repeated words, repeated subjects, warnings, promises, anything unusual, or even anything that we have questions about. So I go back to my text, and the first thing I would love you to do each week is, maybe even in yellow, is to highlight what the main thought is of this paragraph. This paragraph doesn't have any commands. There's no imperatives that says you should do this or you should do that. We'll see that a lot in 1 Peter, but not this first week. This first week it says, blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. And so the main idea here is blessed be God, or God be blessed. It's our main idea. Okay, and why is God blessed? Because he has caused us to be born again. It's the main idea, and everything else is going to describe something about this idea of God causing us to be born again. So we're going to make some observations here. I would observe that first, about God, we already saw this in the Trinity, but that God is the Father, and notes that he's the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. It says that God's mercy is great. So I would note that. It also says he's caused us to be born again. We don't do it, but God has caused us. And we've also seen that in verse 1:1, where it says that we are chosen according to his foreknowledge. So I might note that in my observations, that I've seen this before. We are also born again to a living hope. Our hope is alive. It's not dead or empty. Just as Jesus is alive right now, so our hope is alive right now. We're born again through the resurrection from the dead. And I noticed that the death of Jesus is not mentioned in this verse. It says we're born again to a living hope. It doesn't say through the death of Jesus and the resurrection. It just notes the resurrection. So I would write that down and think, why does he not mention death and resurrection like it does in 1 Corinthians 15? Why only resurrection? And I might note that as a question. And then it talks about an inheritance. What describes this inheritance? I would write down 3 things. It's imperishable, undefiled, unfading. And it's being kept in heaven for me. I might ask myself the question, what is imperishable? What is undefiled, or what is unfading? It also says that in here that we are protected by the power of God through faith for salvation ready to be revealed in the last time. And so I would ask myself, why is the future of our salvation maybe being emphasized? Also, it says that it's ready faith. It's for salvation ready to be revealed. It's already been accomplished. It's already been finished. Those are some things that I might write down. You might have other questions that you can write down. I didn't notice anything in particular that's repeated just in this paragraph. I have noticed that salvation is a common theme so far, and so I might write down or highlight born again as a part of for me personally, okay, what I'm noticing, salvation, okay, and I might also highlight born again. It's okay that those 2 things overlapped, and that's something that is also in my 1 Peter text. I'm going through, and I'm going to, in pink, I'm going to write down every time it says salvation or born again. You might choose or see something else as you're reading along each week.